In this lesson, you will learn how to add duration to tasks in Microsoft Project. It is not the responsibility of the project scheduler to determine duration of the task, but that of the project team. But some of you watching may be a project manager or an engineer trying to put a project plan and schedule together. So in this video, I will touch upon the different ways that task durations can be determined. Later in the video, I will then show you how to enter that task information which we will pretend we got from subject matter experts on our team into the schedule. If you are only interested in learning how to enter duration in Microsoft Project, you might want to jump towards the end of the video, but remember, the information on gathering duration is important and you don't want to miss out. This should work for all versions starting from Microsoft Project 2010 all the way to the most current versions of Project. Hi, I'm Minerva. Before we get started, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to this channel, and hit the bell so that you get notifications when I publish a new video. Here we start with a very basic project schedule that has just been converted from a simple list to having a structure and has a couple of defined milestones we set up in previous lessons. We've also learned in previous lessons on this YouTube channel on how to add subtasks, summary tasks, indent and outdent tasks, change the font and size of our current view, add a milestone, add a blank row, expand or rolled up task in a schedule, move and reorder tasks, and remove the question mark from the duration column. This gives us a good basic understanding of how to set up a task list and how to move around Microsoft Project to get this structure in place to then create a schedule. Now we are going to start building on that knowledge so we are one step closer to getting our schedule to be a good forecasting schedule that uses scheduling best practices and that our team and stakeholders can trust the dates on our schedule. In this lesson, we learn how to add durations to our tasks, but how do we know what is the right duration for each of our tasks? This is a fundamental part of project management. As a project scheduler, the owner of the schedule, your job is to get this information from others on the team. That doesn't mean that you can't help your team understand how to estimate task durations. Estimation of task duration involves estimating the time each task activity will take to complete. It's important to give the task duration a lot of thought because there may be consequences to the project if the duration is chosen arbitrarily. If you underestimate your task duration, it may cause the project to be behind schedule constantly during project execution. This may make your team look bad for not being able to meet task deadlines. If you overestimate task durations, then your project will take longer than necessary and may cost a greater amount than necessary. But don't get scared about choosing durations. Your team already has experience with the task on the schedule, so they can give you a pretty good estimate. Over time, as you become a more experienced project scheduler or project manager that handles schedules, then you will get better at knowing if an estimate is a good one at the time of estimation. Your team has 6 main tools for estimating activities, and they can choose one or more for estimation of duration. These tools are Analogous Estimating, Parametric Estimating, Expert Judgment, 3-point estimating, group decision making, and reserve analysis. I'll go over each one briefly. Analogous estimating is when you make a comparison with other tasks you have done in the past. This is a good technique to use because you have done this work before and therefore probably have data on how long it took and why. Then you will make adjustments to this new task duration to see if it's bigger or smaller, task needs special products or services, etc. Next is parametric estimating. This is where you drill down to unit costs such as time per square foot of pouring concrete, for example. The next one is expert judgment. This is where a technical expert will tell you how long they think a task will take. They are usually the best resource because they have done the work many times over. So many times as a project scheduler, I have worked with a lot of subject matter experts which they know exactly how long a task will take, give or take issues that might arise during execution. So make sure that you lean on your experts on your team. Then we have 3-point estimating. Here is where we have 3 points that are optimistic, most likely, and pessimistic. The most likely scenario is the average of all times the task has been performed in the past. Then you can choose a confidence level for the other two. Usually it is between 90 to 99% interval. For task durations, I would probably give a pessimistic view a heavier likelihood of happening than the optimistic duration, because usually something is more likely to go wrong than something to go really well and make a task go faster. Usually we use this 3-point estimating when we're using a scheduling risk tool to do scheduling risk analysis or SRAs. So this one is a very important way of estimating as well. We also have the technique of group decision making. Here we can have consensus decision making, weighted vote, or the Delphi method. The consensus decision making is where the majority of the group agree on a decision. The Delphi method is when each member takes an estimate without knowing what the others chose. Then these can be charted out and see where the decision converges. Lastly, we have reserve analysis. This is where we know that we have risk for certain tasks. We then keep a management reserve of money to be able to take care of issues to tasks because we know that each project will have some type of problem come up no matter how much we plan. Now that we know a little bit more about coming up with task durations and had our team make the decisions on this, we can go ahead and enter these durations into our schedule. So here we are in the section for project administration. We know that here we have authority to proceed. It's a milestone, so we have it at 0 days duration. Then we have project planning and resources and schedule and cost baseline. So for project administration, I talked to my planner and schedulers and cost estimators, and I got the duration for the task project planning and resources and schedule and cost baseline. So they told me this is going to take 5 days, and the next one, schedule and cost analysis, is going to take another 5 days. Then I went to talk to the engineering team lead, and she gave me the following durations. So for system requirements, she told me that she thinks it's going to take about 10 days to do a systems requirements, documentation, and gathering all of that information. And for the preliminary design for this project, it's going to take about 20 days for the engineers to work through that. So I'm going to put 20 days here. And then for critical design, my subject matter expert, she told me that it's going to take about 20 days to do that. So I'm going to put 20 days here again. And so those are the dates I got from my engineering team. Then I talked to the senior material planner, and he gave me the following information for materials procurement. He told me that material planning will take about 10 days. So I'm going to put here 10 days under duration column for material planning. And for long lead items, he told me it's going to take about 40 days. So I'm going to add 40 days right here. And that looks pretty good. Then I went to talk to the production team, and they gave me the following information. For production, they thought that the cabin modification would take about 5 days. So let's put 5 days for cabin modification of the aircraft. And then for the wing modification, they told me it would probably take about 20 days. So I'm going to put 20 right here. And then for engine modification, it would take about 60 days because it's a lot of heavy engineering going into engine modification. And then we have the cargo modification. So we're going to do 5 days for cargo modification. So let's put that in there. And now we have that for production. And then for test, I went to talk to the test team, and they gave me the information about ground and flight testing. So here for ground test, they told me it would take about 5 days to do all the ground testing. And for flight test, they told me it would take about 5 days again. I'm going to click OK right here. It's asking, want to do this faster? Select the items you want to bulk edit and click either task information or resource information. So we can click OK when you get this message, and you can do what they ask. You could also click on Don't Tell Me About This Again, and then you won't see it again. I'm just going to go ahead and click on OK. And so here, product delivery is a milestone, so I have it at 0 days. So notice here on your Gantt chart, if you have your Gantt chart open like I do, you will see that you have diamonds for your milestones, and then you can see how the bars grew from nothing to having a width of duration depending on how much days we put. You can clearly see here that this one is the longest one with 60 days duration. Remember, it's looking at the calendar dates that we have, the calendar that we have assigned. And for the calendar I have assigned for this project, it only has work from Monday through Friday. So that's 5-day work week. So the 60 days is actually more than 2 months. It's probably closer to 3 months. Okay. We have not put any network logic, so no predecessors and successors. That's why they're all stacked against each other. In a future lesson, we'll go over how to add logic to our schedule and how we make that type of decision. So that's it. Go ahead and practice duration estimating. Don't be shy to talk to your team and the team experts on what is the right duration for each task. When I was a new scheduler, I remember being confused because everyone on the team wanted me to come up with durations as if I was the expert. They confused me as the expert of schedule designer to be the expert of all their engineering. This is incorrect. We just build and manage the schedules expertly using their input. But we constantly need to communicate with our team and let them, as experts in their domain, give us information to the schedule. We as a team are responsible for the key information in our schedules. If you want to continue learning about Microsoft Project to become a power user, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to this channel, and hit the bell to notify you when the next video is published. In this lesson, you learned about task duration estimation, who is responsible for task durations, and how to enter these task durations in your schedule in Microsoft Project.